Hi Willow class, happy Monday. I hope you had a really lovely weekend with your families. So it is the last week before our half-term holidays. We're going to be doing lots of different things this week. With me, you're going to be looking at some maths and division work today, Monday, and then Tuesday and Wednesday we're going to be doing some RE together. And we're going to be thinking about the 10 Commandments, and we're going to be thinking about comparing and looking at two world religions, Islam and Christianity. So moving on to today then, so we're going to be doing some division work, and I know some of you will be thinking, yes, I'm up for the challenge. Some of you might be feeling a little bit nervous, but I just want to reassure you that you can do this. We're going to do it in a step-by-step process so that we'll start off nice and gently, and then things will get trickier as we go on, and I'll talk you through everything, so don't panic. Also, Mrs. Davies and Mr. Wise have told me that you guys are brilliant mathematicians. So I'm very excited to see all your work. Do remember with maths, the thing I absolutely love about maths is that you can have a question and there's not always one way to get to the answer. And I love it because we get to see examples of how our different brains work. And I just love that because we don't have the same brains.
With your own brain, try and have a growth mindset where you can. So instead of having a fixed mindset and thinking things like, oh, I give up, try thinking, I'll use different strategy or I'll try a different way. Instead of thinking, oh, it's good enough, think to yourself, is this really my best work? Instead of thinking, I can't make this any better, try thinking, I can always improve. Instead of thinking, this is too hard, try thinking, this may take some time. Instead of thinking, oh, I made a mistake, I'm rubbish, try thinking, mistakes help me to learn.
Play with resources, play with physical things to help you get in your mind an idea of the number work you're going to be doing. These physical resources, touch things, play with things. It could be things, I've got some Lego and some blocks beside me. It could be Numicon that you see in school. At home, it could be things like pasta or pencils, or from your garden or a local walk, it could be leaves or sticks. Use those things to help you with your maths. The second step to become a maths master is having a picture form of these things. So it might be drawing little dots to help you, or drawing pictures to help you visualize the problem. So I've got here some number sentences, and if I flip it over and show you, these are really good multiplication cards, and we can use these numbers to help us think about multiplying and dividing. Remember, they're the opposites of each other, the inverse. So I could do 4 times 12 gives me 48, or 12 times 4 is 48. What would my division be? 48, big number first when we're dividing. 48 divided by 4 would give me 12, and 48 divided by 12 would give me 4. And if I flip it over, you can see all the possible number sentences you could have for that. So 4 times, what would that be? 12 gives you 48. I can have 12 times, what? 4, 48. We're dividing, we have the big number first. 48 divided by 4 would give me 12, and 48 divided by 12 would give me 4. So when we're thinking about our number sentences for an operation which is inverse, so timesing and dividing, the numbers in the number sentence will all be the same, but it's just mixed up a little bit, as you can see from that. Should we try another one? Let me see what I got here. Let's look at this one. So can you think about giving me 4 number sentences with these 3 numbers? Okay, what would the first one be? What's your first one? You could do 4 times 8 is 32. You could do 8 times 4 is 32. Good. And for your division, that's right, you get the big number first. 32 divided by 4 would give you 8, and 32 divided by 8 would give you 4. And we can look at it like this. We've got 2 for our timesing and 2 for our dividing. Let's do one more. 9 times something is 27, and 3 times something is 27. 9 times 3 is 27. 3 times 9 is 27. And let's look at our dividing. 27 divided by 9 is 3. And 27 divided by 3 is 9. We can flip it over. We've got 27, 3 and 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 3 times 9 is 27. 27 divided by 9 is 3. 27 divided by 3 is 9. So for task A, we are learning to use the inverse to multiply and divide. And we're thinking about the opposite of an operation. So remember, what's the opposite of adding? Taking away. What's the opposite of taking away? Adding. What's the opposite or the inverse of division? It's multiplication. And what's the opposite of multiplication? Division. So think about the opposites. First of all, if you want to warm up, remember it's your choice, but if you want to, we've got a doubling and halving function machine. So in goes the number, you're going to double it, what comes out? So the first example is 54, what comes out? 108. And when you're halving it, in goes the number, what comes out? So in comes 28, what comes out? 14. I've got another little video that I will add in which shows that in a little bit more detail if you want to view it. So your warming up task for task A is thinking about doubling and halving using a function machine. Do you remember that your warming up tasks are totally optional? You can choose to do it or choose not to do it, but it's there to help you if you want to get your brain warmed up. So the first one for doubling, the number we put in is 37. So yes, it is 37. So the number we need to think about coming out the other end is going to be the answer. So 37 comes in, what comes out of our function machine when we...
So we're doubling 37. I've first of all split my number up. I've partitioned it. So I've split it up into my tens and units. So I've got 7 units and 3 tens. 3 tens is the same as 30. And I've got my 7 units. So I'm going to start off by doubling my tens. Double 30 is 60. And doubling my units, double 7 is 14. Now, I want to know what the doubling answer is for 37, all of it together, not 30 and 7. I want 37 together. So I have to add these two answers up. So 60 add 14 is 74.
Walk it through together. So we have 37. The first thing that I would do in my mind is partition those numbers, split them up into your units and tens. Or if you were doing hundreds, tens and units, split them all up into their different columns and sections, okay? Thinking about our place value here. So I've got 3 tens and 7 units. We think about that again, that is 30 and 7. So in my mind, I'm now going to be thinking about halving the 30 and halving the 7. And then I'll be able to get my answer once I add them both up together. So half of 30 is 15 and half of 7 is 3.5. So here is half of 30 and half of 7. Now I don't want just half of 30 and just half of 7. I want half of 37. So I've got to add these two answers up together. So 15 add 3.5 is 18.5. So again, for our warming up, if we're thinking about halving, halving is dividing by 2, isn't it? So we're going to have a little look at this together now. So the first one after the example is 54, and you have to halve 54. So remember, we're thinking about 54 divided by 2. So I've done what I did before with my doubling. I'm splitting the number up, I'm partitioning it. So we've got 5 tens and 4 units. So that's 50 and 4. If I divide my big number first, 50, if I half that by 2, 50 divided by 2 or half is 25. And 4 halved is 2. Then I need to bring it together because remember I'm wanting to find the half of 54. So we've got 25 and 2, and that comes together to make 27. And then your main task, if we know that 6 times 3 is 18, then if we move and manipulate those numbers around, we know that 18 divided by 6 is 3, and 18 divided by 3 is 6. Remember, when we multiply, the answer gets bigger, and when we divide, the answer gets smaller. And if you have all these numbers that join up in a number sentence, you know the answer is right. So if you try a division sum and then you do the inverse calculation, so if you did a multiplication to check the answers all match up, if the answers all match up, then you know you've got the answer right. It's a way of checking. Okay, so the first one here, you've got 3 times 2 equals 6, and then you get the bigger number 6, and you're going to be dividing it by 2, which gives you 3, or divide by 3, which gives you 2. Pretty sure you'll be able to get on with this one fine on your own. If you have any problems, do let me know. I've included one of these for you today, your multiplication square, in case you find timesing tricky. This will really help you today. And if you want to take it further, there's a little game here. You're going to need a die for it. A die is one dice. If you've got more, it's a dice. So you're going to need a die. If you don't have a die at home, then you can just Google random dice or something like that, and you'll be able to get one online if you don't have one. If you don't want to do that, or you can't do that, then maybe you can just ask your brothers and sisters or your mums and dads to just give you some random numbers, and you can do that as well. So for example, you've got number 4 and a number 3. Can you make your multiplication sentences and your division number sentences using those numbers? So if we have 4 and 3, we can do 3 times 4 is 12, or 4 times 3 is 12. And our division would be the bigger number, 12, divided by 3 is 4, or 12 divided by 4 is 3. So those numbers we can manipulate and move around. So that's your task A.